Okay, yeah, we're live, man.
We're live. Let's see. Add the comments. If you're just joining us, you can comment in. We have the comments section open, and we'll start in 2 minutes. Okay, we're going to get started. First, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to Mixed Essence. We have a very special guest. He is Kinota Braithwaite. He is an African Canadian father and international school educator who lives in Kugenuma-kaigan, Japan. And when he comes on, he can correct me on that pronunciation. Well, without further ado, I will let him get in, and we will get started. If you have any comments, feel free to use the comment section. Any questions, we'll keep an eye out for that.
Hey, Jose, how are you, buddy?
Hello.
Okay.
How are you, Kinota?
Yeah, we're doing okay, man. We're doing okay. Yeah, so I live in a place called Kugenuma-kaigan.
There you go.
Yeah, say that 5 times fast.
Yes, that's tongue twister for me. Just one.
Yeah, so we're here. We're here in Japan, and Kugenuma. We live right next to the ocean.
Okay.
So it's close. I guess from Tokyo, it takes about an hour and 30 minutes to where we are.
Well, okay. By train or by car?
By train. Yeah, by train.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's really in the morning. You don't want to be in the train here.
Okay.
You definitely don't. Yeah, it's a little crowded. Well, we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
Your train systems, from what I hear, are much cleaner than the Philly Broad Street line.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's one thing they do really well in Japan. Yeah, they do. The trains are always on time, and they're pretty reliable. I mean, they're reliable and they're clean, and they're really. So not that many people are actually driving so often because the train system is pretty good.
Okay. Well, that's good. So I did pronounce your first name right. I stumbled over the last name. So
don't worry about it. Yeah, I stumbled over it too.
Can you say your name for everybody and just tell us a little bit about yourself? Sure.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Kinota Braithwaite, and I'm a teacher here in Japan, and I live in a place called Kugenuma-kaigan, and I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, and then so I moved out to Japan to be closer to my children, so that's me, and I write these books.
It's good. That's awesome. I like the graphic.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Now, were you born in Canada?
I was born in Canada, so I lived there for most of my life, and then I wanted to like travel, so I found a. I looked in the newspaper and it said "Teach English in Japan," and I was like, "Wow, okay, that sounds like somewhere I'd like to go." And so I went over, and then I taught in their like junior high school systems.
Okay.
So if anyone is interested in teaching in Japan, most people they teach English, and there's lots of jobs available for that. So if anyone out there is looking to come to Japan, then most people start as an English teacher.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's good to know.
How's the weather?
Okay, so the weather now, it's we're going towards more of the like the rainy season.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot more rain. But in the summer, it's that I like it's really really hot. Like it's hot and that's sweaty hot.
Oh, like
Yeah,
the
so,
humidity is high.
yeah. So you got buckets of sweat, and it's really hot and
Okay.
humid. I guess there's a lot of humidity here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get started in writing books?
Okay, so books. I'm like I'm a teacher, so I'm always telling my students like stories. Like I'm like telling them stories about my life, about my family, and I find that stories are an effective way to teach children.
Okay.
So what happened is that my daughter, who attends Japanese school, she was being bullied.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So she was being bullied, and I we solved the problem with the school. Like the school, because in Japan, it's bullying is like a big problem here.
Okay.
It's a really and sometimes people here, not everyone, but sometimes it has that like brush it under the carpet kind of attitude.
Okay.
So whereas like say I don't like Americans or Canadians were like more open, we're more like, hey, we're more like
Let's
just in
talk about
general. We're more like talkative.
Okay.
Whereas Japan, it's like, if you don't
And
get
never
it, then just
happened.
kind of, yeah, it didn't happen because we didn't see it, right? Or we didn't see it, but we're just ignoring it, right?
Okay.
So that was what I was kind of worried about it. And then Japan, it's kind of like a homogeneous society. So what that means is that everyone pretty much looks the same.
Okay.
There's not really that much like diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And then the saying in Japan is that the nail that sticks up, we hammer it down.
Oh, okay.
So that's a Japanese like proverb, right? We hammer the nail down.
Yeah.
So
We'll comment on
as
that.
as a person of my daughter is like biracial, her mom's Japanese, obviously I'm black, I was really really worried because a lot of times biracial children they get bullied
Okay.
in Japan, unfortunately.
Okay. Now you said that bullying happens a lot. It's not. Is it necessarily a racial thing, or is it a class, or is it both, or is it a mixture of different aspects of bullying?
So what usually so it could be a racial thing
Okay.
because you like my daughter looks different than the other children going to school. So it could be
Okay.
class in Japan, it's everyone's wearing pretty much like they have the uniform, so it's kind of hard for you. Like, I mean, one kid might come up and like, yeah, I got a cool iPhone, but it's not
Right.
really like a class sort of thing. But it's mostly like anyone that's different, right? So if you have some sort of different characteristic and you're not part of the group,
Okay.
then they can kind of like latch onto you or And for me, it was surprising because my daughter like pretty much got along with everyone.
Right.
She was a good student, never caused anyone any trouble, and she had lots of friends. And then I feel that maybe the students, they thought, okay, she's different. Let's
Right.
start to make fun of her.
So she became the nail.
Exactly. Yeah. So you got to find somebody, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So writing your book was inspired by a pain.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was birthed out of pain. It started out of pain.
Right.
So you
Right.
wanted to take that pain and make something positive out of it.
Right. Because I thought to myself, like, well, okay, there are going to be other children who are going to go through this same thing, unfortunately.
Right. Right. And I can relate with you on that. That's what we, me and Melissa, that's why we started Mix Essence. We started the same thing. It was birthed out of our children's pain. You know, our middle child came and told us some story, and you know, he was called a black crown, and we went to the school to handle it and everything, and you know, so I can how you say sympathize with you. We're on the same path. You know, we have the same mission, so to say.
Right. I mean, when you get that kind of story, it's painful. Like, because it's like, what can you do? You can't go to the school and start yelling at the kid. Like, you know what I mean? You can't, you know, and you can't like, it's just like, what do? You don't want that for your child. It's so bad.
Right. And you have to handle it as a grown up and be diplomatic and and show your children, you know, a proper way of handling it without trying to sweep it under the rug, so to say.
Right. Because I think it's like it was really painful. And I think that at the beginning, I didn't really know what to do.
Okay.
Because it was like kind of like, okay, I'm a black person. I've dealt with racism. I know what this is. Yeah.
Right.
And so when it happened to my daughter, I was like, oh man, this is 2000 and we're in the 21st. Like, why are we, why is this happening? I understand when it happened in the past.
Right.
Just because of like the culture or everything that happened in the past. But I'm like, why is this still happening?
Right.
And it kind of just broke my heart because I thought when I was a kid, I thought, okay, we're going to solve this problem. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right.
And then when it happened to my daughter, I was like, oh man, it's the same thing that I went through when I was a kid growing up, you know?
Right.
So,
and the tough thing about it is it's not even the same. Like it's the same, but it's not the same, especially with social media. So it's more amplified. So it's you know, it's put out there. Like, you know, you're on the screen and it's not just in your neighborhood, it's around the world.
Right. I mean, yeah, with like the cyberbullying and everyone's got an Instagram account and a Facebook and this and that. Yeah, it is like, because I mean, when we were kids, we grew up, it was like you got into a fight and then, you know, you shook hands and then that was it, right?
Right.
And I think now it's like if you don't handle it or you don't like handle it, then it can really get worse, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit more about the book. It's your only book, or are you working on another book?
So this is my so Mio the Beautiful is the first book. And what I tried to do was like bring in elements of Japanese elementary school life, so that children outside of Japan can be like, oh, okay, this is how they do things in Japan. So we have a picture there. If you see Mio with the little like yellow hat.
Yes.
So in Japan, they wear that yellow hat as like sort of like a safety so that the cars can see them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's something that they have, and then they so let me just throw this there. So in Japan, the students make the lunches, or they help prepare it.
Okay.
So that's a lot different than, say, in the US or in Canada,
Right.
where you bring your lunch
Yeah.
or there's like a cafeteria. So in Japan, it's like the children serve all the food to each other,
Okay.
and then they clean up the classroom, and they have like the teacher sits down and the children
Okay.
serve the teacher, and then they serve everybody, and everyone eats the same food.
All right, that's pretty neat.
If you like the food.
That's true too.
But usually I tried it, it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
I wouldn't complain. It's actually okay. Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
What has been your biggest accomplishment as an author?
I think my biggest accomplishment was I got a lot of messages from all over the world that people that have read the book. And I got messages like, thank you for writing this. Now we have hope.
Right. That's awesome.
I got messages like my son and my son read this book, and it's good to know that there's people out there fighting and trying to make a change, you know. So I got a lot of good I got a lot of good feedback, and just going out to schools, like I usually go out to schools and I try to talk to schools. So I think basically my biggest accomplishment is to raise awareness and to try to get the message out that, like, okay, bullying is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and kids should be able to go to school in peace and just learn and have fun and be kids, not worry about bullies, right?
Be kids. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, those kids, they're unfiltered.
Right. Right.
Some of us don't learn like me.
Yeah, well, there's always time. We can always learn, right? Always new day.
I gotten better at filtering. I did. I gotten better.
Yeah.
What's been your biggest challenge as an author?
I think just my like time. My time.
Okay.
I think like I teach at a school, so that takes a lot of my time.
Okay.
And then I have to look after my kids, so that takes a lot of time.
Right.
So I think just like balancing and you know, it's just the time. The time. It's like I just got to manage my time.
Right. Can you give us an example? I mean, I know we were talking earlier today, just so that the people have a picture. Even with the school, that like they start in April, they end in March, and back in school in April. So, can you give us your day on how things go? You know.
Okay. So you mean my general day, or how the school?
Yeah, your general day. You know, as a teacher, trying to fit in, you know, the students in the school, and then your own family. How do you break it down and stuff?
Okay, so the school that I work at full time, that school is in Tokyo.
Okay, so we're already an hour and a half on the train.
We're an hour and a half on the train, so I wake up probably about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Okay.
In the morning, and then I walk from my house to the train station.
Okay.
And sometimes I skateboard. If I'm really awake, then I get on my skateboard and I skateboard to the train station. Okay. But if I'm not, then I'm like, I better be safe, you know, like, and so I get there, and I get to the train station, and then it's crowded. Like it's pretty crowded at that time. And then you get on the train and people are in a rush.
Okay.
And it's like you don't, like, you gotta move, right? People are like running up the stairs to get to their train and get to work on time.
Oh, sounds like New York right now.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then you get on the train, and depending if you can get a seat, you're lucky.
Okay.
And this is, remember, this is like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And if you can't get a seat, then you're like this for the whole swaying back and forth.
Right, right. So then how much time you're in school then? From what time?
I get to school probably about I probably get there about like 7:45.
Okay. And what time does it end?
And so it ends at about 3:30, and then I have to do the preparation for the next school day.
Okay.
So like clean the classroom, prepare the lessons, talk to the parents about their child, update lessons, like do all that kind of stuff. And then I jump on the train and then head back to the beach or where I live.
What time you're home?
If I really like book it, I'm usually home at about 5.
Okay.
But if I kind of take the scenic route, then I usually get home at about 6.
Okay. And it doesn't stop there, does it?
No. And then you're like, you gotta like, you gotta like, get cook and then take care of, it's like a bunch of different things that are going on. And then I try to spend like 2 hours, like working on the book or responding to emails and promoting the book. And just like, because I get a lot of requests for people saying, hey, can you come speak at our school, or hey, can you do this podcast, or so I try to get out there, and I really want to like get the message out there, like bullying is not correct,
right?
It's not the way we should approach things, and so that's why I'm doing it mainly.
Okay. So sounds like us as well, just trying to fit in the time, balance it out between, spouse and kids and work,
right.
and, our mission. So yeah. I can understand.
Yeah, I know you can. Yeah, definitely.
Earlier, you showed us some pages in the book, and you explained why they wear the yellow hat and students feeding one another. Can you tell us what message you wanted the readers to get out of your book?
Well, I think that there's a couple. There's a couple messages, right? One of the things that is a challenge is, and as you know, you have children of different backgrounds. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And one of the challenges for my daughter and my son is that in Japan, sometimes there's this attitude of, well, since you're like mixed or biracial, you're not Japanese.
Right.
You're something else.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I wanted to get across the message is that, hey, you know what? Like, if you have a Japanese passport, you live in Japan, my children, they can speak Japanese. They go to school here.
Right.
And they like Japan. They like everything about it. Mm-hmm. So why don't we just accept them as just being part of the system and not outside it, or a part of the, not system, a part of the society, and not something else.
Right.
So in the book, I kind of say like, hey, this is like where you can be Japanese, but you don't necessarily have to look like the typical Japanese person.
Okay.
It's just I can be Canadian and you could, or you can be American, and there's not really a set like a set way of looking or being or whatever,
or even speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't hear the Canadian accent or anything. Now I'm stereotyping. I apologize.
Yeah, that's good, man. You got to keep some humor, right? You got to make some jokes here, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the messages, and the other one is that that when we use these type of words, they can really hurt.
Yeah.
and we should teach kids that, hey, you may think that this is funny, but it really isn't funny, and that person is really hurt by that. So we shouldn't say that or do that because it's not the right way.
Right.
So that's what I'd like. So when kids read it, I'd like them to get the message that like it's really serious when you're making fun of somebody, and that's
Right.
not good.
Right. And you know, bullying, like everything else, it's a taught thing, you know.
Right.
It starts at home. You know,
Yeah.
we have to be mindful of what we say, what we do, what we're watching, what we're reading, what we're bringing.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a learned behavior.
Yeah. 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 I think it. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is something that that if you don't correct it at an early age, then it just goes through, and and you start to bring that. And then it also too, like I feel that children shouldn't have to like. It's enough to study.
Right.
It's enough. It's enough to like learn something. It's hard enough to learn something.
Right.
And then when you have like to deal with like bullies and all this other stuff, it's really difficult.
Right. How does your daughter feel about writing the book?
Initially she was a bit shy. Like she was like, okay, Dad, what do what do you, a little bit. But now, now that we solved the problem of bullying, that was the main thing, to solve the problem.
Okay.
Like to make sure that we like you did with when you had the problem with your son. Yeah,
Right.
you went, you handled it. So now that that's solved, like she actually likes seeing herself in the front of the book. She's like, yeah, that's me. So she's actually pretty happy to see herself in front of the book.
Okay.
And yeah, so things have turned for the better, but I still have like my mission, and I really want to like, basically I'm dedicating my life to fighting bullying.
Okay.
So
with that said, what advice would you give to parents whose child is being bullied or they don't know where to turn?
I think the thing is that you have to act fast.
Okay.
Like before it becomes like a habit, or before it becomes ingrained, and other kids start joining in, and it because one. Oh,
sorry.
No problem.
I forgot to put my phone on mute.
We're live.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah. No worries, man. No worries. You're doing great. Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah. So I think the thing is that I think what I felt is that you have to act fast and contact the teacher. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have to kind of tell your child, without being too intrusive, but you got to develop like some sort of communication with them.
Right.
Because if you don't know, then they could be going to school getting bullied, and then you're not going to know about it.
Right. So you have to, man, it's a thin line. You have to act fast, like you're saying,
right?
But also establish the confidence between you and your child to have the open dialogue, so nothing is hidden.
Right. That's the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you because I've heard of like kids getting bullied and they don't tell their parents. That's like, you got to tell your child that, hey, if something's happening, you got to tell me, right? Because otherwise, it might not get dealt with.
Right. What advice do you have for the children that is being bullied because of their race or their difference? How would you approach it?
I would say for a child, I would say something like, okay, if somebody's like treating you in a bad way, you have to tell the teacher. Yeah. And you have to tell us as your parents. You got to tell somebody. You can't keep it inside.
Right.
But like, it's so tricky because, I mean, sometimes the child doesn't want to talk about it,
Yes, I do know. Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to talk about this. I kind of and you're like, well, what happened? And what happened? And and what did this? And so it's sometimes I think contacting your child's teacher and developing like a relationship with your child's teacher is really important. But it's not something that is easily solved. Like it's not something that I can just give like a clear cut answer. But I would say the main thing is that you act fast and that you develop, like keep an open dialogue, right? And don't let them brush it under the carpet.
Very true. Very true. What's next for you?
Okay, so I'm actually writing another book because of the success of Mio the Beautiful, this book right here. And I'm actually writing another book, and because I'm writing this book from the perspective of like a bystander. So sometimes with bullying,
okay,
the kids on the side could do something, but then they don't. So then it just continues.
Right.
So I thought, okay, I got to write a book that addresses this issue, so that we can have the other kids say, "Hey, no, that's wrong. Hey, don't do that to that person," and have the courage to stand up.
Right. Right.
And say that this is wrong. So I'm
That's
writing
awesome.
the other book.
That's awesome. That's a new perspective.
Yeah, because I'm trying to write these books so that kids can read them and they can say they can identify with it, and maybe we can make some changes.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
If people wanted to support you, how can our viewers find you to purchase your books and etc.?
Okay, so if I have the books right now on Amazon .com, so that would be for folks in the States.
Okay.
So I have those, and if you type in Mio the Beautiful into to Amazon.com, then you can find the book there.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Let me see. Typing it in now.
All right.
Yep, it works. It pops right up. But just in case, we'll make sure to get the links out to the viewers. We did send out earlier links with in connection to StreamYard to make sure that we are supporting you.
Okay, well, thank you.
We're very excited. We're very excited at the movement. Very excited to have you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And from us, we want to encourage you and to keep up this strong message, because it's needed. It is definitely needed. Like you said, we're in 2021, and you would think that we will be so far ahead.
Right.
What we come to find out is that it never went away. It's more exposed now that you have social media platforms that people are just getting caught left and right with these actions. So we need to change the behavior.
Right. And I think it's like, if we can start with the kids and we can teach them to be open-minded and accepting and treat others with respect and these kind of things, then I think we can make it better for kids going to school. That's basically what I want to do.
Okay. At this time, I'm just going to see if anybody has any questions, and I can read them out. Let's see. If you have any questions, just go ahead and post it in the comment section, and we can go from there.
Okay, cool.
Hang tight, Kinota.
No problem.
Okay, at this time, there's no questions, but we definitely thank you. Hold on tight. I'm going to end the broadcast, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you.